I want to tell you something. If you're trying to chase freedom, that's not what you should chase. I got the laptop lifestyle that everybody wants. I got the mimosas on the beach, the good-looking girls, the nice car, the luxury apartment, the ability to be location independent, time independent, and financial freedom is I'm kind of working towards that still. But enough money to where I didn't need to really struggle or worry about anything. And I got to experience it. And the freedom that everybody talks about, the thing that we used to read about in the 4 hour work week, is not just good, but it's also very, very bad. You see, when you are free to do whatever you want. So you're not only free to do the good things in your life, but you're also free to do all of the negative, chaotic things that can destroy your life. And so when I first moved from New York to Philly, technically I don't live in Philly. Technically I live in Bala Cynwyd. This was amazing. I had so many things going. I had, $60,000 in my savings. I had a high-paying marketing director job. I was making like $140,000 a year. I had location independence, and the job that I was working at, I didn't really have, I had a lot of meetings and stuff like that, but ultimately I had a lot of time independence as well. So I could do whatever I want. And what I spent my time doing, you know, was doing things such as going to the gym, walking every single day, making sure that I was going to do MMA. I used to go to this company called Restore to make sure that I'm getting IVs in my body and stuff like that. So there was a lot of health things in my routine. But then later on, I started to get bored along the way, and I started to add chaos into the mix because I felt like I needed to do something different because I was so rigid on following my systematic life that I had, my routine that I had. So I said, okay, I need to do something different. And I started to go out every night. I started to deal with different females. I started to, just do all of these chaotic things. And what I realized is that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, a little bit too much. I started drinking a lot and all this other stuff. And when you're free, you're literally free to do whatever you want. And if you are not working on things that are important, right? And you have this freedom that you've been chasing, and you think like, okay, I made it now. I made it, which I didn't think I made it. But having that amount saved up gave me the opportunity to be like, if I was working in a job, I could be like, yo, you know what? I'm not dealing with this, right? Because I have enough to where I can pay for my rent, I can pay for my car, I can pay for whatever. And then on top of that, I had high-paying jobs and high-paying opportunities in the market. There were so many different jobs. And, I ended up like quitting that job, getting, starting my own thing, getting clients, and just doing that, right? And again, when you have $60,000 saved, you have enough money to where you don't need to constantly chase after clients. Like you could be comfortable. And that same, like having that and being able to experience that, it is one of the best things that I've ever experienced. I'm still technically in that same type of situation, even though I'm rebuilding, because I started to realize how big of a detriment, like how detrimental this was to my life to some degree. Having the freedom to do whatever I want allowed me to run the course of chaos. And being in the chaos was good because it broke up my routine. And there are some things that I started to do, that I didn't do before. Like I started to read more books because I had more time, and really indulge in educating myself and following my curiosity. But ultimately, having all of this freedom basically made me feel like I lost myself. And the reason why is because I knew that I didn't want to continue to do marketing, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And instead of focusing on fixing that part of my life and figuring that out, I said, I'm just going to go enjoy all these experiences. And then after I enjoy all of these experiences, I'll figure it out afterwards. And I was so wrong about that, right? So now I'm rebuilding. Now, I'm still freelancing. I'm working with clients and stuff like that. And, I'm realizing that the problem with the game of clients. Like, for example, I just landed a new client a couple of days ago. It's an e-commerce client that's paying me $5,000 a month. If you want to know how to do that, by the way, leave a comment below. But the issue with clients is that you can't really rely on clients. Like, unless you're out there constantly putting yourself in a position to get new clients all the time and to make this a consistent thing, you can't rely on it, right? So the freedom that I strive for, why am I saying all of this? The freedom that I strived for came from having money saved, having a high-paying job that I end up quitting, getting clients that allowed me to sustain, and just doing whatever I want. And sometimes you need to do the opposite thing of whatever you want. So if you're pursuing freedom, I want you to know that when you get this freedom that you want, don't allow the freedom to stop you from working on the end goal. Because sometimes you can feel like you've worked so hard. Like I said, this is what happened to me. If you know me, I've always been the type of person who's been a super hard worker, and I focused on the task at hand, getting the job done. But it was after I got the job done that I started to realize that, the job was never finished, right? And yeah, I feel like I needed it to some degree because I was burnt out. I was working ruthlessly. I was doing a whole bunch of different things that wasn't really beneficial to me. But there was so many lessons that I extracted from it. And this is what I'm creating content about now. Like, I want to help people find and live a purposeful, meaningful life, because I feel like if you don't know what you want to do with your life, if you don't have, even if it's your career or whatever the case may be, if you don't know what you want to do, then it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter, because you can find that, you can get that freedom, and that freedom could turn into chaos. And what you want is the exact antithesis of that. You want order. You don't want chaos. You want order. But so that's why I always tell people, you don't want freedom, you want autonomy, right? Because autonomy is being able to be technically free by having control and working on things that are going to benefit you, right? And especially with how everything is changing right now in this day and age and stuff like that, it's important to build something that you can rely on, that can propel you forward in society, that also contributes value to other people. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you want to see next. I'm going to be, again, making content. And, if you want to read more about my experiences and the things that I've been through in my life, go to purposecanvas.substack.com. I'm going to be writing a lot there. And, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.